All right, Nate should be joining soon, but we'll go ahead and get started. Okay. Also, for anyone watching on YouTube, all those tags that are on my screen are because we just had bot problems lately. I think the bots are upgrading their scam capabilities, so more people are falling for it.
Stone, you got muted. There you go.
There we go. How's that? There we go. Okay, apparently I can't click on general on my other computer. So, apparently, like I said, I think more people are falling for scams because I guess scammers are coming up with new tactics that people just aren't educated on. And there's Nate. Okay, Nate, go ahead.
Hello, Pebbles across all platforms. Welcome to the It's Podcast, episode 62.
Yep.
I had to get
Okay.
out of bed because of this.
You sound like you just got out of bed.
Yes,
It's okay, though.
I was so comfy.
Let me show off what's for lunch today. What is for lunch today is basically, it's in food, and it's a basically take on fish and chips.
What the hey?
Yeah, it's like a fish sandwich and fries. Oh, delicious, my love.
Wait, huh. Are those like, do you have like especially dark potatoes, or are those like sweet potato fries, or what?
They're regular potatoes, but I think you cut them into like sort of steak fry wedges, right?
Right, and then I fried them last night and then baked them in the oven.
Yep. Steak fry wedges are the best because you get the most out of your fry.
Dark. They're especially dark.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're well seasoned. Okay, so today's topic, as I mentioned in the Big Brain Chat, was childhood memories. And as I spoke with Andy and Rabid at the beginning, Rabid apparently fell down the stairs. And I don't remember this, but apparently when I was a baby, I fell down the stairs hard.
Howie.
Yeah. My mom says, like, it's her fault because she left the door open to the basement and didn't have the baby gate up. So I crawled to the edge of the stairs and just tumbled all the way down. And apparently, because babies are probably prone to head injuries, I cracked my skull open a bit, the doctor said. And so, but I healed just fine. So
That goes to show that you're very hard.
Yep, goes to show I'm hard-headed, both mentally and physically. I have no idea what this has done to me long term, but I think I turned out fine.
Maybe that's the reason why you reply so slow to me.
Maybe.
It's because he has other things to do.
Well, that and you're busy. But who knows? But I guess I should talk about something I remember was when I was a kid. There was the YMCA after school program, and they actually let us do a water gun fight. And my dad bought me and my brother SPF 2000s from Nerf, and so naturally we just absolutely like boosted kids with water. It was like the water pressure on those guns was unbelievable. And then, of course, one counselor has this frickin' backpack gun, and I'm like, are you serious?
Wow.
Yeah, it was like he brought a frickin' like power washer to the.
Oh man, I think I remember those actually.
Yeah.
Does it look like a flamethrower?
Well, it was basically
But it's a water thrower.
Yeah, it was a power washer. That's how much water pressure was on those things. I remember getting sprayed in the face with it, and it hurt. It was like, ow. And basically, we were like in, I think, third or fourth grade, and it was like third and fourth graders versus like second and first graders. And so basically that counselor was on the first and second grader side to give those kids some kind of advantage. But I doubt things like that go on now, because there's always that one asshole kid who ruins everything. I want to bet
Oof,
sometime.
yeah.
Yeah, because I'm gonna bet sometime between then and now, at some point, a kid came with a water gun filled with urine, if I had to take a guess.
Ugh.
And he probably ruined it for everyone. So basically, at that point, the school would probably be like, yep, no more water gun fights. Ever.
Mhm.
That's how it works, though. You know, one kid always ruins it for everybody.
No, what you do is you mix it like mostly water, but then you put a little bit of cat pee in it.
Ew.
Why
That's
cat
how you win.
pee?
Oh, it reeks. You can't get it out.
Yeah.
Oh, stars.
It does have that like almost skunk-like musk that like you need certain kind of chemicals to get the smell out.
Yeah, that's what you do.
Yeah.
For all y'all out there gonna
Don't
do
fuck with the
water
wrong
gun
person,
fight,
though, because
get
you
cat
do, they'll
pee.
pull it over.
Yeah, but-
No.
I mean,
Hair remover.
or hair remover, yeah. But
Ooh.
yeah, then there's the kid who always pulls out a real gun, and that's who ends up on the news.
Just over in the USA. Tick, tick, tick.
Yeah, I wanted down there and started spraying kids.
Yeah,
That was epic.
yeah. But yeah, it's just a shame what ends up ruining the fun for everybody, you know.
Mhm.
Well, that's my childhood memory. Let's go in ascending order as usual. Rabid, what's a good childhood memory for you?
I'm sadly, this is one of the few things I can't really talk about because due to everything that happened to me, I don't have any memories from before I was 18 or 19 years old.
What?
Aw.
What happened to you to cause that?
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
A couple of explosions, a few rockets.
Oh,
A
Jesus.
couple of falls.
So you've had head
Yeah.
trauma that has given you amnesia.
Oh, repeated head trauma.
Oh my God, I am so sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
Well then,
But
I guess
yeah, it was goofy.
I guess we'll consider your childhood 17 or 18 at this point, since that's the case. We'll make an exception.
Like the earliest memory I've got is honestly the bus ride from the hotel, which was somewhere in Georgia, and it was about 2 hours on the bus pulling into Fort Benning, Georgia. That I think is
Oh.
like one of the, and even that one is hazy.
So the earliest memory is you appearing at basic training?
Yeah, pretty much.
Damn.
That is that's where I'm at. It it's kind of jacked, but like I've got inklings of things that might have happened, but so far as like details or anything like that, I myself am no, because even a few years ago, the last time I even talked with my parents, maybe 3-4 years ago, they were bringing up stuff, and I'm looking at them going, I don't remember any of this.
I think you might have to
And-
see a hypnotist for that at this point.
Right? Well, I mean, I've been going to therapy. I've got appointments all the time, and stuff. But the funny part, looking at it is, instead of them looking at the situation and saying, "Oh man, okay, well, yeah, we got it. We understand what happened." They just got mad at me for not remembering.
Huh.
Like, "Oh yes, I'm sorry. It's my fault that all this stuff happened." So yeah, I'm the guilty one.
Jeez, that is just harrowing. I'm sorry to hear that.
I just laugh at it and I ignore them now.
Well, I mean, here's hoping your memory comes back, that's for sure.
From what I could tell, I probably don't even want to remember any of it from stuff my grandmother told me last year because she was in the hospital. She told me a couple of things, and I said, "Huh, that kind of explains a couple things."
Yeah. Well, if you ever do see a therapist, or sorry, hypnotist, and they manage to recover any of those memories, let's hope the good ones come up instead of the bad ones.
Yeah.
We'll see. I like where I'm at
Yeah.
now. And kind of focus on, where I'm at now, where I'm going.
I guess in some ways it kind of
Uh,
makes you like almost Cloud from Final Fantasy VII.
Oh, 100%. It kind of clean slated me, and it's amazing. Because I can just move forward and go, listen, you can't hold any of this stuff on me and gaslight me like you're trying to, I think.
Yeah, at least,
So,
but at least you're not like taking on, another person's persona, like taking taking over your best friend Zach's
Oh.
persona.
Yeah, at least I can avoid that. I can avoid that a lot. I know I'm a lot different than what I used to be, but I mean that constitutes for everybody, right? Everyone grows up, no matter what your, whatever your circumstances were, you're gonna change.
Right.
So I guess I clearly changed. I got like a new software update.
Oh,
Yeah. Anyways, Nate, you go ahead and go next.
Mm-hmm. I guess I'll start. I'll tell like the earliest or one of the earliest that I can remember. Uh, Me and well, my parents, they used to. Huh. I'm struggling with the correct past tense, but like we had a garden rented out for a few years. I don't know. Again, I don't know the correct past tense here, but and I remember playing there a lot. And again, one of my earliest memories is that I was crawling on the little pebble path. I don't know. I was either pretending to be a lizard or a snake. I was just crawling, doing kid stuff. And then I noticed a very weird shaped leaf in front of me, and I reach for it, and the leaf feels weird, so I let it go, and the leaf flies away. It
Oh,
was a
so it was
butterfly this whole time.
Eh,
So I just
yeah,
watched it go, and I was just like, "Oh, that wasn't a leaf." Oh well, then I just crawled on. Whatever.
it was me, Butterfly.
Yeah, that's
It's
one
like
of the
that.
earliest
It was
memories.
actually me, Dio.
Dio Butterfly.
The
Oh no.
Nate's earliest memory, the Dio Butterfly.
I don't think that existed when I was a child,
No,
or
actually,
maybe it did.
well, yeah, I mean, JoJo did exist as a manga, but I think the only thing it got was a shitty anime that came out in 2003, and it was just Stardust Crusaders, and it was a very poor quality.
I see.
Yeah.
Then it was out probably when that happened because yeah, I was really tiny,
Yeah.
tiny baby.
Okay.
I don't
Andrea,
know
you're
about
next. What's
earliest,
your
but
earliest childhood
I
memory
I
that you
do
care
remember
to mention?
Oh yeah, that was awesome. Good time.
Remember watching Toonami after school? Mm-hmm.
Uh,
um,
I don't know.
what would you
I
do
remember.
like while you watched? Well, I know what when I was a kid, I had multitasking down pat because I would always play my Game Boy while I watched, or I, admittedly I was not the best with doing my homework, but
Oh no. Were you at
my
least
parents.
grinding levels, or were you like actively playing on the Game Boy and watching the TV?
I was actively playing on the Game Boy and watching TV.
I see.
And I mean, I did exploit the missing no glitch because it got around to us as kids. So we just used the missing no glitch to clone rare candies and then just gave our Pokemon a bunch of, rare candies.
Yeah.
It made
I
it so
mean
it was kind of.
that technically counts as grinding, but yeah, no.
Yeah. It created like an odd stalemate because nobody wanted to do link battles anymore because it's like nobody knows who used the rare candy glitch, who was playing fair or not. So it's like yeah, you're gonna challenge me to a battle, and then all my Pokemon are only gonna be like level 50, but yours are gonna be like level 100. So this is not gonna be fair. Granted, later Pokemon I think corrected this. I like with the I actually had to like change your Pokemon's nature and everything, so you even if there was a rare candy glitch, you couldn't exploit it because with that whole nature stuff, your Pokemon like can outperform Pokemon that are of higher level. So
Pretty much.
yeah, they have done their best to patch that out.
Who, me?
And did
I
you
don't know, but
do you remember what's
Uh,
the earliest Pokemon
Probably Red and Blue.
game that you got?
No, I didn't even know about it.
Classic Red and Blue. Did you exploit the missing no
I don't
glitch?
know. I didn't know about it.
What? How did it not get to you by that
Not
point?
really.
Okay, I guess you didn't have internet access to look it up. Yeah. Admittedly, dial-up
Or
was
secretly, he has been doing it, and he doesn't want everyone that he's been owning for years to know. Oh man, this guy's been doing the rare candy for 20 years.
But some of the like early video games are always fond memories as well, because
oh, definitely.
you can't replicate that feeling. You really can't. It doesn't. Because even like PlayStation in their like 30th anniversary this year, they gave us the classic PlayStation 1 boot up intro whenever you booted up the PS5. I'm like, oh my
Oh.
god, take me back.
Lol.
I heard GameCube is gonna do something now.
I mean, the Nintendo Switch
And
2.
I gotta know. Oh, that's what it is. Okay, because I remember seeing something they were talking about GameCube games, and I was kind of hoping they were going to make a new GameCube console.
No, it's well, if they made another GameCube console, they call it the Nintendo or the GameCube 2. Instead, they're doing a Nintendo Switch 2 and just I think releasing a bunch of like N64 and GameCube games for it.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to spend that much on that Nintendo Switch 2 console, plus have games cost $90.
Yeah, a lot of people are really frustrated with that it's going to be like $500, and yeah, that it's going to have.
That's Nintendo for ya. That's consoles for ya.
Yeah, and it's weird because I can see Nintendo's strategy with why they're doing this now. Because if I had to take a guess, like, because Xbox and PS and the PlayStation have not announced their next console yet, but when it's coming out or if ever, I don't know.
Well, the new Xbox, my understanding, is basically a PC that's just optimized for television.
Basically, that's probably what it's going to be.
That's all it is. And PlayStation got real mad because Xbox then dropped. Oh, by the way, we signed a deal with Valve. So
Yeah, you can play Steam
if it's
games on the
your Steam
Xbox.
account, you can play all your Steam games here too, which means a lot of these games that were crossed in between PlayStation and Steam will now be available on Xbox.
Yep.
So you want to play Kingdom Hearts on your Xbox now?
Yep.
Hey, here's your shot.
Well, that's because
And I think a lot of people will probably just go to Xbox.
yeah,
anyway.
and PlayStation also makes a lot of its games available on Steam, so it's like it ends up being cross-platform. That probably pisses them off because they don't want some of their PlayStation exclusives or what are supposed to be their PlayStation exclusives played on the Xbox.
Oh well.
Yeah, it's sort of a oh well, what you gonna do? I mean, what they probably might do is I can see them blocking access to it on the Xbox, basically saying detecting the system you're trying to play it from and just saying if you try to play God of War on Xbox, we're just not going to let you play it.
This system is not compatible, blah blah blah, and they'll just throw a bunch of coding in there so it becomes nigh impossible to play.
Yeah,
maybe.
even
Well, I
though
mean,
from a systemic standpoint, yeah, it absolutely is compatible. You could play this on Xbox, but they won't let you.
imagine being that gatekeepy, SMH.
That what?
Ugh,
Gatekeepy.
Yeah, because it's like, I mean, I can understand. They don't want
Yeah,
the
I mean,
competition.
I sort of do, but only if it were like one franchise of games per console that is made by the same, like, company that is making the console.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, why don't all the companies get together? And people have suggested this since like the early console wars. Why don't all the companies get together and just release a super console? Hell, I read about it in Game Informer magazine. Like, that's another memory that came up. It's like Game Informer magazine. They suggested, why not a super
I got a bunch
console?
of that.
So that we can play all the games we want.
The only time I actually played on a console, I was like, okay, it was teenage years, not childhood years, I think, but it was one of the PS consoles, maybe two, and we played like the Surf's Up game.
Surf's Up video game.
Yeah, with the
Who'd
penguins.
you play as, Cody or Chicken Joe?
I think Cody. I like the ice skate surfboard better.
That's funny because the movie didn't like the ice surfboard.
Yeah, well, I did. That was like kind of my reasoning. Like, oh hey, he didn't write this much in the movie. Let me do it in the game at least.
Yeah, I guess that's one way to look at it.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. I was
I
not a
guess
console kid. My
because the
friend had
dude,
it.
I mean, Big Z.
Hmm.
I laugh because it's like Jeff Bridges plays Big Z, and it's basically just the dude from The Big Lebowski, but a penguin. um, and so yeah, the dude didn't want him to cough at his surfboard when carving it like a piece of ice. He wanted him to actually take his time and carve it. And it makes sense. Like you said, big, long strokes, just like you're riding a wave. You let the wave do the work.
Yeah.
But I guess I'll move it up to teenage years now as well. I think I've talked about my wrestling days, and I remember the most triumphant feeling, even though it was an incredibly close match, was at this tournament that we went to called the St. Mark's Tournament. It was a private school called St. Mark's.
Okay,
And
so lately, for the last couple
my
weeks, I've been
brother
having this problem
never.
with Discord.
Andy
where
dipped.
When
Oh,
my
What happened,
my
Andy?
laptop goes like
PCs.
when the screen turns off, I don't know if it disconnects you. I don't know why. I don't know why it's doing that. It didn't used to do that.
It disconnects you.
Oh, lol.
That's weird. Okay. Well, anyways, so we were at the St. Mark's tournament. My brother had never won this tournament. He had never come in first place. Usually second or third. I was the first person between us to actually win the tournament. I got to the finals, and I won by 1 point. It was a stalemate most of the
Wow.
time. Yep, until I finally got the option to start from the bottom. I got my escape point, and then I just held it. And so I won by 1 point. And that was so triumphant holding that medal that my brother never won.
Damn.
It was awesome.
Who's the favorite now?
Yep.
Oh no. Oh no.
Um,
I'm doing favorites.
so I guess Rabin, since again you're a blank on childhood memories or even anything.
Well, I mean, my teenage years basically were the military.
Yeah. So I guess regale us with
And that,
another
yeah,
military memory
that
if
was
that's all you got.
because it was so weird because when I talk with folks that weren't in that early or just weren't with it, it's a completely different formative experience as a teenager when you're late adolescence or the 17 to 20 year old, what you're usually doing, the colleges, the parties, the drinking, blah blah blah. Um, it's sort of similar, but then you have just this kind of weird uniformity and structure to it. So when my buddies would talk about, oh well, this is what we would do to when we go to the party, it was just, hey, we're gonna go party, grab some stuff, go to a place, have a party. Yeah, no, that wasn't how it was. The first house party I went to, that I can remember, was shortly after I got to OSIT, went to my squad leader, and it was a full blown text chat group. Like, you have this, you have
guys,
this, you have this.
sorry to
Everything was
interrupt, but I
extremely
gotta get going.
structured for the house party, like the most well
All right,
planned
yep,
out
see ya.
house party. But it results in, you got 3 kegs
Huh?
in the kitchen.
Oh, later,
Okay,
Andy.
Oh,
see
just
you.
look.
Bye.
But you get like 3 kegs sitting on a counter,
Kegs?
all
What?
organized. Kegs.
What's
oh yeah,
that?
just full blown kegs.
What's that?
Giant steel barrel full
Yeah.
of beer. Kegger. Or I guess. Oh, I'm trying to remember the other word.
Prostě sud. Barrel.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah, just a full blown barrel of it. So you have 3 barrels of beer sitting on the kitchen counter. Then you also have 30 to 40 different types of hard liquor. Just all of it. And every couple of weeks, I think we were having a house party like that. And it was great because I didn't have, that regular college experience or that regular teenager kind of experience. So all of my stuff was pretty much around the lines of, yeah, we're going to get drunk to get drunk. And everyone's going to rip on each other. And you're going to feel horrible about yourself the entire time. So if you feel depressed and demeaned, don't worry. There's alcohol for it. And that set me off down a very destructive road for years. That was not good. So no, don't drink when you're sad.
Yeah.
Right.
It's so wild, but yeah,
That is the
everything's
worst
like
way to drink.
haziness. But I do remember, like, I made so many long-lasting friends off of it and get real close with folks. It was kind of, I don't know, it was a different explanation. It was a different goal. You weren't going out to party to hook up. You were going out to party to get good with everyone that you've basically living with for 3 to 4 years at a time. And I do miss that a little bit. I don't miss the other stuff, but I miss that. That was kind of fun.
No.
Anyways, so yeah, Nate, your earliest teenage memories?
Well, aside from that, I think, you said like, the PS, I don't know which number intro is
One.
nostalgic for you.
Yeah.
What is like, a nostalgic like intro, I guess for me is for Wildlife Park. It's like
Wildlife Park?
yeah. It's just like it's like a heartbeat intro with like the text vibrating on a black screen and then it opens to the menu and the music comes in and it's just like wow. I haven't played it in years, but you can apparently get it on Steam. Question mark. So, maybe one day I'll revisit it. I'm kind of afraid too because, I have really, really big nostalgia classes here,
Right.
I guess. So,
And you're afraid the game is not going to be nearly as good as what you remembered.
yeah.
I mean, some games were not as good as you remember. Like one game I'm wanting a remake, but or at least a re-release, but I'm a bit afraid I'm gonna end up, not liking it again. Or rather, not liking it when I replay it is Splashdown. You guys probably don't know about Splashdown, but Splashdown, for one, had an awesome soundtrack. Like it had like all the best like early 2000s hits on there, but basically it was this sort of like think Tony Hawk's Pro Skater meets jet skis. So you would go,
Well, that
yeah,
sounds dope.
it was like you were on racing on jet skis and you could do all these tricks and everything. It was, and again, it just had a bopping soundtrack to it, but it only ever got one game, and never again was there a sequel or a re-release, and that it's like it's a dang shame,
I suppose so.
Yep.
Wildlife Park got like it got an expansion of sorts called Wild Creatures, and you could like research like prehistoric animals and plants in there. That
Right.
was fun.
But
Yeah.
yeah, that was.
I like that concept where you have like extinct animals and things. That's kind of dope. I would do that.
Mhm.
Yeah. I think that let me look at. I'm looking up Wildlife Park. What was it for? The PlayStation 1?
No, I had it on my
Oh, on your
on my computer.
so it's PC.
Yeah.
You know a good PC game that I remember but it doesn't function anymore on modern PCs is so it's sort of like that's actually just the game I was about to mention. Sim Theme Park. Morocco, shush. That was a good one. Basically, with Sim Theme Park, you, as the title implies, you ran theme parks, and you could raise shitloads of money, and you had to complete different achievements for every park to unlock a new park. And there were 4 different parks you could run. There was a Jurassic Park kind of park, a Wonderland park, a Halloween theme park, and a space park. And it was neat. You just got to, construct all these rides, and you could construct like how many loop-de-loops on a roller coaster there were. You could have a roller coaster that went around the whole park. That was crazy. It was fun. Let's see. Another early childhood memory. I remember my dad taking us for some of our first ski trips. And I might have told this story before, but when we got snowed in at Angel Fire, New Mexico. So basically, we weren't expecting this level of snow, but we were there an extra day. So we couldn't get to the grocery store to get more food, but there was a pizza place that was open. So my brother and I, we trudged through waist-deep snow to get to this pizza place. And so we wait for our pizza, and we're walking back through our snow tracks, the pizza box above our heads, like it's SpongeBob. We even started singing it. The Krusty Krab pizza is the pizza.
I see.
Yep. It was nuts.
I don't think I ever saw that episode in Czech. Maybe.
I'll have to. Then I'll just send you the clip. The clips are all over YouTube.
I know the clip.
Okay.
Again, I don't know if I ever saw it in Czech.
Oh, okay. But yeah, we trudged back through there, and then my dad's like, "Okay, I got us a flight halfway into Oklahoma if we drive, because all the flights in Santa Fe were shut down." So, rather, it was Albuquerque, yeah. But we have to get out of here first, and so we were digging tire treads with the shovels in the garage of the condo we were staying at to give him traction to be able to actually get out of that condo. As like 15, we were 15 and 16, just digging the snow out, and just by the time we're done, this huge pile of snow at the end of the driveway. But we did it. Through one way or another, we did it. So, Rabid, what's another good memory for you that you can remember?
Ooh. Trying to think of positive memories. There was trying to think. I think it was in Alaska at this point. Oh yeah, I was in Alaska.
Oh,
so we had the barracks for one of our companies was on one end of this field near the lake. And then there was another company that was across the field, also next to the lake. And I don't know how this whole thing started. I heard that it was just two guys that were buddies, and one of them started building a snow fort, and he ambushed his buddy. And then it eventually devolved into a 3-day long gang war snowball fight type of a
What
thing.
in the heck?
Oh, it was great. So basically, we all knew who was in that company specifically. So if you saw them, you just packed some snow and threw a snowball at them. No matter what, it was just on site. Everyone throws snowballs at each other. But when the weekend came up, it was basically a snowball war. So we, there's maybe 40 or 50 people, grown adults, out in the snow making trench works and bunkers and everything else for hours and throwing snowballs at each other. But it got so out of hand that the MPs, the military police, wound up showing up to come and tell us, like, hey, we had to stop. We had to put everything back. So we all started throwing snowballs at them. But the cops were in good humor, so they started grabbing snowballs and throwing them at us too.
Lol.
Yeah, well, I mean, eventually, one of the higher ups said, "No, I'm not kidding. People are taking video and pictures of you guys. This is unprofessional. You have to stop." Went boo. But yeah, 3-day long snowball fight. It was great.
Yeah. Was there actually a winner, or were you guys just fucking around?
Oh, nobody won. It was mostly just for shits and giggles, like having fun with it.
If anything, y'all
I know
lost
that
because
same
y'all
company-
had to stop doing it.
we all got in trouble, so I guess we all lost.
In a way, everyone lost.
Happens.
Yeah, there's never a winner.
So Nate, another good childhood memory for you.
Okay, I'm not sure about good, but I
ahead.
do have one in my mind right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was probably the one and only time I was at a circus. But there might have been a second one, but no memory of that. And the only thing I remember from it is a tiny, tiny moment of the clown performance of one clown like starting to cry, and like there being like I think well they were done with some light projection, but you know like a big stream of tears. Like that's all I can recall. It's
If-
real, and I didn't want to go into a circus like again.
A lot of kids in America have a fear of clowns.
Yeah.
And it's actually apart from John Wayne Gacy, because
Well,
yeah, clowns can just be creepy.
Yeah. John. Oh, you don't know who John Wayne
Yeah,
Gacy was?
Rabbit, explain who John Wayne Gacy is. Or was.
The long version, the short version, or the effed up version? Because I know a lot about John Wayne Gacy.
Do a condensed but comprehensive version.
There we go. So John Wayne Gacy was an absolute loser. So early on, this man was a manager at a Wendy's, and then on top of that, he was involved in local politics. You know, like a county board commission, blah blah blah. And he would always kind of inflate himself. But one of the things he was known for in the town was he would dress up as a party clown, like a big red lips, blue eyes, white face paint, the whole clown gambit, right? Quintessential clown getup, and he would do birthday parties. What nobody knew was for years, this weirdo was kidnapping young boys, killing them, and burying them in his basement, covered in lye powder.
what powder?
So he
It's like an acid.
Lye. So it's to break down, it's to break down human tissue and everything. So he was coating them in this stuff for years. And the way he was getting some of them was when at that point he was a contractor, he would hire, these young boys to do odd jobs like carpentry, walling, electric, whatever. And then he would, of course, commit acts with them, kill them, and bury them in the basement. So, of course, the first photo that hits the papers where they arrest him is him in the clown getup. So he was the quintessential killer clown.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, and this is where
It was either Pogo or Patches.
it was Pogo, I think. Yeah,
No, Pogo
I think it was
or
Pogo the clown was what he
Pogo
went
is
by.
too.
clown
But-
personas.
Right. And
Yeah.
the reason why a lot of the clown community doesn't like Casey's makeup form was because it was pointed
Yeah,
instead of rounded. Because pointed means you have evil intentions as a clown.
yeah, it's like an evil clown.
So also it was KFC, not Wendy's, because his father-in-law.
Oh, KFC.
Yeah,
Because his father,
I knew it was a cruddy place I never went
Yeah.
to.
because his father-in-law owned several KFCs, and since he was married, since his daughter was married to the bastard, he was like, "Here, you can be a manager of one," but he acted like the owner instead of a manager. He would always hire pretty teenage boys and offer them rides or whatnot, or purposely injure them so he could take them to the hospital. So after a while, they're like, "Yeah, if you're pretty, avoid that bastard.
yeah,
Don't accept a ride from him."
yeah.
And he stuffed so many bodies in the crawl space that some bones actually fused together, so they couldn't tell.
Whose bones were whose?
Pretty unfortunately, yes. And then he would take the kids home like hitchhiking. It's like, "Oh yeah, I could offer you a job," or "Hey, you want to smoke or do you want to drink?" And he would take them back and of course start, torturing them. But he also would pick up teenagers in the parks when they were prostituting themselves. And pretty soon they were like, "Hey, avoid this chubby guy in a car." And also, unfortunately, he would also hang out at the bus stops because naive kids would hop off, going, "All right, Chicago, I'm going to explore it," not realizing the dangers of the city. So he would lure them away that way. He was also part of the JCs, and which is a organization of businessmen from 18 to 40. And unfortunately, with the JCs, they also did very unethical things too.
Yeah,
So, but he always, some people thought he bought his friendships by either giving them a bunch of KFC or even prostituting his own wife to them.
yeah. It was really
I
messed
wouldn't
up.
put it past
Yeah,
him.
so I mean,
But-
unfortunately, as a charismatic man, he got away with a bunch of shit and doing charitable work with his clown personas and also donating food and giving parties. He kind of developed a community name for himself, so people didn't really believe it when he would get arrested for certain things.
Yeah, or was accused of it initially until eventually the smell under his crawl space just got so intense that it was basically just unavoidable at that point.
Oh.
No,
Why?
that's what I've seen on a bunch of documentaries about him.
No, his second wife left the house because she's like, "It smells awful in here." And people outside were also gone, "Oh, it smells pretty bad out here." But
Yeah.
unfortunately, he sometimes would take well-known kids
Yeah, kids with loving families.
and who actually would go, "No, my kid doesn't run away," but of course, cops dismiss it. So there's a lot of discrepancies that he got himself caught in,
Yeah,
and so the cops actually just watched him, basically.
yeah, they
did-
finally caught him.
Yeah, they did a stakeout and
Yeah.
caught him that way.
Yeah, but we were doing childhood memories. So what's a good childhood memory for you, my love? Any good ones? My poor baby.
Um,
My poor baby. It's okay.
I um Does it have to be super happy?
At least mildly happy.
Um,
We're finding out a lot about ourselves. Happy memory? What's that?
Meow.
I guess when you stop recording, you can tell them. I guess happy memory would be when I used to take road trips down to San Antonio and hang out with my dad's side of the family. But unfortunately, there was not really a lot of happy memories growing up.
Yeah.
I don't really have some that really,
Stand out.
not really, because most of the time, whatever was good was just taken away. The only thing I can say is that I do have some Christmas moments where my mom would get me a big box of books, and it was filled with from things of history to science and craft books.
Yeah.
And I used to look forward to that every Christmas.
Yeah.
It was just that one thing I looked forward to. I didn't care about getting anything else. Like, you could have got me a computer. I wouldn't care. I just wanted my box of books.
And I messed that up. I think it was not last year, but the year before.
Yeah.
So,
So let's the Christmas before that, my mom, because it's not that tradition for a good while. So, you're just like, okay, as you grow up, you're like, I don't know what to get you anymore.
right.
But this time, Christmas before we left for Kansas, that got me a box of books and was filled with some almanacs and books, and I was so happy I actually cried.
Yeah.
Because I hadn't gotten a box of books in a very long while. And then I guess it stuck with you so much that you decided to replicate it last year
Yeah.
and failed miserably.
Yes, I did. I got her a bunch of not very good fiction stories and
You just basically went to a discount store and just grabbed whatever book that caught your eye
pretty much.
and hoped for the best.
Yeah.
Try.
But it's like the thought that counts makes it really special to me. But unfortunately, when you did that, it's also like, wow, it's just like my dad. You just took whatever clearance book there was and went, here you go.
I didn't do this bad, but
It was pretty bad.
I'm sorry.
Like, why would I want to become a TikTok influencer?
Well, you were on TikTok a lot.
Just because I scroll videos and just go, okay, that looks funny. Why would I? Why?
And I thought you might have just found the book just interesting in a just sort of ha-ha way. You're giving me this look, which is like, yeah, that does make me feel dumb.
No, I mean, you're not dumb. You're just a doofus.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with being a doofus, because doofuses at least are endearing and intelligent and just have some silly moments.
Yeah.
But when you're dumb, it's what most people I deal with is like, okay, you're dumb.
Yeah. Since we got 10 minutes left, I'll go ahead and do our closing thoughts and everything. It actually does open it up to closing thoughts. And it leads me sort of to more unpleasant childhood memories of school. I unfortunately was one of the kids who had to be pilled up on Ritalin.
What?
Ritalin. It's basically an ADD drug, basically. But I just couldn't pay attention in school. It was just frustrating, and teachers thought I would ask, questions they felt weren't productive. And I'd have meetings with my mom and a counselor about it. It's just like, he's asking a bunch of these questions and they're not productive. And it's just like, I have these questions.
Not productive. What?
Yeah, that's literally how they put it. And so they just recommended to put me on Ritalin. And so, yeah, I definitely spaced out and paid attention. And I'm just like, but it did make me feel good. It honestly made me feel depressed. And I just did not like the way it made me feel. But I was required to take it to pay attention, apparently. But I eventually just stopped taking it because I just refused to continue taking it. Because it's just like, I do not like how this makes me feel, and I don't want to be this way. It's just, no.
Don't blame you there.
Huh?
But don't blame you for
Yeah.
that.
So,
Basically, Ritalin is
That's
what they
good.
give to kids who actually question
yeah.
society norms and
What?
they don't like people who can't conform.
Yeah, basically,
What
It-
the heck is your USA school system? What?
Oh, our school system
yeah,
sucks.
that's,
It's more indoctrination.
yeah,
now.
basically, even in the 90s when I grew up, you know, I think most of the reason they did it is because teachers, you know, they scheduled your day in such a way where they only had like so much time to get their lesson plan in, and they felt like if these questions were, you know, asked, it was wasting time, and they weren't able to get their lesson plan in for the rest of the kids. And it's like in a 30 student class, I guess that kind of makes sense, but at the same time, it's like you need to be a good enough teacher to be able to handle this, and they just refuse to train their teachers well enough to handle this. So they're, like I said, with any boys it's like almost 90% boys who are put on Ritalin. You know, they just decide, yeah, just fuck it. Put them on Ritalin and call it a day, and it was fucked up.
That's effed up. Yeah.
Yeah. But that closing thought, I still have a lot of happy childhood memories, and I feel like they do ground me a lot. Like I said, I remember the water gun fights. I remember the Pokemon battles where oftentimes we rigged the game to win. And that was fun.
What's that like?
What, rigging the game to win?
No,
What?
having happy childhood memories.
My poor baby. Rabid, what's your closing thoughts, and what are, I guess, memories you'd hope to recover should you go to a hypnotist?
I actually don't think there would be any memories back there too.
What, you think?
That would be worth that
You think
time.
they've been
Like, if
completely
I'm gonna
knocked
spend
out of
money
your
on
head?
Yeah, completely.
Shit.
But for those of y'all that have shitty memories, I've got this great program of yours where they'll pay you to lose your memories, given the right circumstances. Don't do it.
Yeah.
If you want to do military stuff, yeah, go for it. Have fun with it. It's not all bad. I think it's just made me a little better, like not having all those memories.
I guess in some way it's baggage, too.
Yeah. And for a long time, I was like upset or felt bad, or guilty that I didn't remember any of this stuff. And then after 2 or 3 conversations with extended family about that whole situation, just kind of cemented in the idea of, you know what, maybe there are some memories that are just not worth chasing down.
Yeah.
Like, there we go. Or if you could just pack it up, put it in a box, toss it away. It's not healthy, allegedly, but I feel better. I feel better because it's down and over there and it's like shredded. I don't have to worry about it. I've got enough memories from the near 13, 14 years of other stuff that I'm dealing with. So anything from my adolescence that would just make it worse. Heck nah. Leave it away in the garage. Put it in a box and burn it.
Yep.
It's probably better, just focus on making new memories that are better.
Yep.
I suppose so.
So, Nate, your closing thoughts?
Okay, first off, I have a little correction. Lye is a hydroxide, not an acid.
Oh.
So,
I guess it
it's
does
on the
break down
opposite.
flesh all the same.
Yeah, I mean, the like both
Yeah.
like extreme ends, like acidic and alkaline, they break stuff up.
Yeah.
But yeah, and other closing thoughts,
Don't put people in your basement and cover them in
yeah.
lye. Otherwise, you're going to work at KFC and become a party
Yep.
clown.
Oh boy. Yeah, that's definitely the lesson for today.
Better
And
yet, don't eat KFC.
Yeah. And if
That was his last meal too, wasn't it?
I think so, yeah.
A
Yeah.
bucket of KFC chicken, 2 pounds of strawberries, and like a pound of popcorn shrimp, and I forget the drink. Probably, I think it was Diet Coke. All fat people drink Diet Coke.
Yeah. But
Yeah, because I'm eating a whole bucket of KFC and fried shrimp, so I'm gonna have the diet soda.
No, seriously, working in food,
watch-
every fat girl would come in there and go, oh, an oatmeal chocolate chip cookie, yes. Oh, and then a Diet Coke. I'm trying to be healthy. Bitch, she just had like the worst sandwich, and you got a cookie on top of it.
yeah, those cookies have like 500 calories. Yeah.
It's like, are you serious? Especially the sugar cookie was nothing but like eating a pound of butter.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh yeah, Diet Coke's gonna really save you. Good job, sweetie.
Yep. I mean, and on top of this,
Or the ones that go into the restaurant and are saying, "Oh, well, I'm on a diet. Today's my cheat day." And you look at what they're ordering. It's like, you ordered the giant ribeye, mashed potatoes with French fries as
Yeah.
well. So double starch on.
yeah, it's like
You've eaten.
on top of this with
two
John
baskets
Gacy
of
and his
bread
last
rolls.
meal, it's like it's his last meal. It's your last meal. Why would you care about diet at that point? You're going to die.
I liked one
Yeah.
person's idea was if he was ever going to get sentenced to the electric chair, he was just going to eat a whole bunch of unpopped popcorn
Oh,
kernels.
so that you explode, pop,
That way the popcorn would
And then-
pop inside.
and then
of
you'd
him.
explode.
Actually, with
Yeah,
serial
and they have
killer,
to clean up the mess.
Albert Fish, when he was electrocuted, his body shot forth sparks because of all the needles he inserted in his
Body,
what do you call that area?
navel.
No, shut up.
Okay, sorry.
Between the balls and the asshole. What is that?
Oh, the taint.
Yeah, the tank.
The
Yeah,
goosh.
he would insert needles in that spot and all around his groin area.
Yeah,
So they were so deep embedded they couldn't get him out. So when he was electrocuted,
he shot sparks.
Yeah.
Jeez. Crazy. But before we close out, I remembered I always want to do a meme of the day, so I posted it in memes. So I will voice this meme here. Mom, look, it fell out. You should put it under your pillow for the tooth fairy. Later. Hello, Billy. I've come for your teeth. You mean tooth? Open wide.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
iconic. I love it.
Hey, there was a cartoon about that.
A tooth fairy?
Yeah, an evil tooth fairy. She kidnaps a boy and she was going to pull out all his teeth.
But the boy drives her crazy. I think I
No.
remember that one.
He wakes up, it turns out to be a nightmare, but it ends with or was it a nightmare?
Yeah. It always ends with a, or was it? But okay. That is our hour. Nate, go
Yay.
ahead and close us out.
Goodbye, pebbles across all platforms. This has been the Idiots Podcast.